Hi everyone, this is Aakaash. Today we are going to see a game between Edward Lasker and George Allen Thomas. This game was played in 1911 in London more than 100 years ago, and Edward Lasker had the white pieces and George Allen Thomas had the black pieces. Edward Lasker should not be confused with Emanuel Lasker, who was the world champion for 27 years and one of the greats of the game. But nonetheless, Edward Lasker was a great player. He was an international master. And George Allen Thomas was a Britishman. He was also extremely good at chess. And also, George Allen Thomas was a badminton champion, All England badminton champion. And he was also one of the co-founders of International Badminton Federation. And it is also worthy to mention that the badminton equivalent of Davis Cup is named after him, Thomas Cup. So he had the black pieces. And Edward Lasker started with d4 and George played e6, having French defense in mind. Had white played e4, then it would have been French defense, but white did not play e4. He had other things in mind. He played f3, developing his knight, and so black played f5, Dutch defense. Well, this is not Dutch defense per se, because once you play d4, and if black plays immediately f5, then that is Dutch defense. But this is nonetheless a transposition of Dutch defense. And so what black has done is that it has prevented white from playing e4 by playing f5. This pawn is attacking the square. So white developed his knight, putting additional security for the z4 square. Black again added pressure on the z4 square. So white, what he did was he wanted to exchange this bishop for this knight, and also he wanted a nice control over his king side. So he played bishop to g5, also pinning knight. Now the knight cannot go to e4, and for instance, if black chose to develop his knight, then he cannot go here, because if he goes here, queen is lost, of course. So black chose to unpin this knight by playing bishop to e7, and black happily exchanged pieces, exchanged his bishop for the black knight. And now, since the knight is not here, white can play e4, and it did play e4. Pawn takes pawn, knight takes pawn, and now black can castle, but he thought, okay, I can play one more move before castling. So he played b6 with the idea of bringing his bishop to b7 and attacking along this diagonal, fianchetto. So white played e5. Why? Because this pawn was under attack, so he wanted to defend this, so he played e5, and black castled before it's too late. So white, having this in mind, this bishop to b7 in mind, in advance he played bishop to d3, and black, predictably so, developed his bishop b7. Now white played queen to h5. Now what is white doing? White is gaining dominance on the king side, as it had intended from the beginning. And now if black plays a bad move, the game is lost. Unfortunately, during the game, George Allen Thomas did not find a good move. Since the white king was active, he wanted to activate his queen as well. So since his queen was now at the back rank sitting quietly, he wanted that to bring into the game, and he played queen to e7. It is white to move. If you want, you can pause the video and find one move which wins the game for white. right away, 100%. Are you ready? Did you find the move? Well, believe it or not, Edward Lasker played queen to h7 check. This queen is undefended, and also the black king does not have any other squares to go. It is under check. It cannot go to f7 square because the knight at e5 is attacking the square, and he cannot go to h8, of course, because the queen is already attacking. The black's only move is king takes queen, and now the magic begins. Sit back and watch. Knight takes bishop, check. Can queen takes this knight? Of course it cannot take this knight because it's also bishop check. It's a double check, discover attack. The king has two squares to go. It can either go back to h8 or it can go to h6. What happens if it goes to h8? It's a grave mistake. Do you see the checkmate? Knight to g6, checkmate. So, king has to go to h6. But is it safe? No. Check. Again, the king has only one square to go. It cannot go to g6 because it is attacked by bishop. Again, check. Only one square to go. Again, check. Again, only one square to go. The black king is smothered. Check. Again, only one square to go. And the penultimate check. It cannot go here. Of course, the rook is attacking. It cannot take the rook because knight is defending. Only one move. Do you see the checkmate? Checkmate. White can also choose to castle queenside as a mark of irony. Checkmate. See this king here, who was once castled and very safe, but now, because of one bad move, he is at the back rank of his opposite king, getting smothered and checkmated. After this game, after getting checkmated, George Allen Thomas shook hands with Edward Lasker and told, "Nicely played." But Lasker, being a German at that time, he did not know English, so he called a person from the spectator stand, and he made him translate. And after hearing what George said, he was very overwhelmed, and he told that had he played a Berlin amateur, he would have arrogantly told that instead of this move, queen to e7, had I played bishop takes knight, then you would have lost. That would have been a comment from a Berlin amateur. That's what Lasker replied to George after the game. Anyway, since both were gentlemen, there were no quarrels or bitter experiences after that. So this game is also a very famous game in chess history, known as the King's Hunt. What a game. It was soon after this move was played, Lasker had everything calculated to the last move of checkmating him. What a play. I hope you enjoyed this video, and that is all for today. Have a good day. Thank you.